With us slowly closing in on version 1.4, we have recently received a few teasers in regard to the version update, including an official illustration that does hold quite a bit of info in itself. But more importantly, we have also just received developer notes going over a ton of brand new implementations to the game, such as new permanent gameplay mechanics, cosmetics for weapons, new events such as the long-awaited Illusive Realm, and many optimizations to the game. So as much as version 1.4 did seem to be a possibly underwhelming update in comparison to 1.3, it has certainly taken a turn and is looking to be an amazing update overall, stacked with a ton of content. So with that, I'm going to be going over everything that is confirmed for version 1.4 and what else we may be able to potentially see within the update and the future. Just before we jump right into it, as always, would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel for more WutheringWaves content and drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Now I'm going to kick this off with briefly going over the character banners and their value dropping in 1.4. As for the first phase, we will be receiving the highly anticipated Camellia, which has managed to entice players even more into summoning for her with the POV teaser trailer, and as for the second phase, we are receiving Yinlin's rerun banner, which technically still isn't confirmed, but there are many reasons to believe that this will be the case, and especially now since the official illustration for version 1.4 does feature Yinlin, meaning she will make her first appearance in the main story, and it does double down on her rerun banner being featured within the second phase of 1.4. Additionally, we are receiving a brand new 4-star character being Lumi, which I do expect to see featured on Yinlin's rerun banner. Now with Lumi, we were given some insight into one of her abilities through the dev notes, which is in fact linked to the brand new mechanic Elusive Sprint. Lumi is essentially able to move at high speed, and when certain requirements are met, instead of dodging, Lumi will dash out of the way and is capable of dealing ranged attacks as she moves. So as expected, regardless of being a 4-star character, Lumi is able to offer a unique style of gameplay and will be able to hold her own value in comparison to every other character, which does significantly boost the value of the banner that she will be featured on. So now, as for the amount of value these banners hold overall, considering that Camellia is likely going to be one of the best DPS characters in the game, with potentially great damage dealing capabilities, insane animations, and gameplay, the absurd amount of players that are most likely going to be picking her up for her design will also receive a powerful and fun character to play with, which means Camellia's banner is definitely going to hold a ton of value. As for Yinlin, the fact that she has abilities such as dealing electro damage off field, deals great burst damage, and is able to provide a boost in electro damage by 20% and resonance liberation damage by 25% through her outro skill, allows her to be just as valuable as when she initially released, or arguably even more, since every player was able to pick up Changli in version 1.2 for free, and since he is an amazing DPS character that can clear through majority of content, Yinlin's overall value would definitely go up as they do synergize extremely well together. Additionally, just due to Yinlin's outro skill being extremely valuable for any electro DPS, it does allow her to hold a ton of longevity, as she will be able to support literally any electro DPS that drops in the future. Speaking of which, Yinlin's banner would be even more valuable due to Lumi being featured, which is likely an electro DPS, and just by the way one of her abilities look, she does definitely seem like a fun DPS to play with, leading to Yinlin's rerun banner also holding a ton of value. Now as for the brand new mechanics being implemented in version 1.4, firstly we have the Dream Link mechanic, which seems to be a team ultimate when certain requirements are met, and it does look absolutely insane. It does specifically state that when certain conditions align during combat, Dream Link will activate, dramatically amplifying your team's combat prowess. So that could mean the team will be able to deal significantly more damage for a short window of time, or the speed of dealing attacks increases exponentially, or even perhaps all team members will be able to deal damage at the same time. As within the preview, you can see Changli's Phoenix flying upwards whilst Rover is still on the field dealing damage. So there is quite a bit of potential with this new mechanic, and the fact that it will remain in the game permanently is amazing. As for it being featured within our core gameplay mechanics outside of the main event, it isn't exactly clear whether that will be the case, but I would expect to see this mechanic featured in many events at least, and hopefully it does become a permanent addition to our core gameplay mechanics sometime later on. Now in addition to the Dream Link mechanic, and as I mentioned earlier, there is the elusive sprint mechanic that allows you to traverse insanely quick once you pick up the White Cat's blessings. So there being a new mechanic that improves exploration within the game just makes the experience of traversing on foot a whole lot better for players, and since it will be a permanent mechanic, we will likely be able to see this implemented in new areas in the future, which does make exploration in WutheringWaves even better than it already is. Now in regards to cosmetics, weapon projections will be debuting in 1.4 as a new customization feature for weapons, which are essentially skins that you can use on your weapon, and with the 1.4 main event, we will be able to pick up a free weapon projection along with a brand new 4-star sword. So by the preview, I am assuming that the free sword will be the one Rover is holding, and the free weapon projection will be in fact a red and white variation on the sword. Additionally, we will be able to turn weapons invisible or partially invisible, which is a nice option to have to allow character animations to seem even better. Now personally, I don't think the 5-star weapons need skins as they all look amazing, but of course it is down to your preference. However, as for the 4-star weapons, these skins are certainly clutch, as 4-star weapons do all look really boring and there just isn't as much detail in them as 5-star weapons, which is naturally to be expected. So weapon skins will definitely be able to fix that problem for sure. In addition, over time we would be able to pick up new weapon projections, and maybe they do release a few projections that are 5-star quality, which would then make it worth using on 5-star weapons as well as 4-star weapons. So weapon projections are a great addition to the game and do hold a lot of future potential, as it could possibly lead to freestyle customizations later on, where players are able to fully customize a weapon and make it unique to themselves, especially since we can turn a weapon partially invisible, which means there are bound to be many customization options available in the future. Now of course, with the introduction of weapon skins, it does provide some confirmation towards character skins also debuting very soon, which has been rumored to drop between version 1.4 and 2.0. So with that, it is more likely we will be able to see character skins very soon alongside weapon skins, which of course is something majority of players will definitely be looking forward to. Now as for the new events in 1.4, and more specifically the biggest event dropping, it is a given that we will be receiving a new Illusive Realm event, which I know for a fact majority of players are extremely hyped for, as it is by far the best event in the game. So with the 1.4 version of the Illusive Realm, we will likely see a few improvements and additions, such as new mechanics, possibly new buffs to pick up along the way to make combat even more fun, and brand new areas as we saw in the 1.2 Illusive Realm. Now coming back to the new Dream Link mechanic, since the whole update and main story event seems to be orientated around the Illusive Realm and its lore, I do certainly see the Dream Link mechanic being a permanent addition to the Illusive Realm from 1.4 onwards, as it has been stated to be a permanent mechanic once the main story event in 1.4 concludes. So as much as it would be nice to have the Dream Link mechanic being implemented into the core combat mechanics, it does seem fitting to have it at least in the Illusive Realm, as it is a rogue type mode. So needless to say that the Illusive Realm is gonna be even more fun than the previous versions, and likely will be the highlights of version 1.4 for quite a few players. Now in regards to possible major changes to the Illusive Realm, it has been rumored that Kuro are looking to make the Illusive Realm a permanent event and possibly involve co-op features. Again, these are just rumors and have not been confirmed, but the fact that the Illusive Realm took a leave of absence for the entirety of 1.3 makes it more likely that one of these features, or perhaps even both, will be coming to fruition, and if they do, it will certainly be one of the best updates by far. As considering that the Illusive Realm is arguably the most fun mode in the game, of course players would want permanent access to the mode even if there aren't any rewards to claim. So having the Illusive Realm as a permanent mode would be an amazing addition, but for it to also have co-op features will seriously take it up another level, as then you would be able to experience the best mode in WutheringWaves alongside other players. Also, as I have mentioned in some videos before, co-op in WutheringWaves is currently stale since there really is nothing to do, which explains majority of the reason why the hologram boss event was amazing, since it was able to fill that void in co-op. But unfortunately that was a time limited mode. So if the Illusive Realm becomes a permanent addition to the game and also features the ability to play alongside friends, it will allow for co-op to be a ton more enjoyable and for there to be something to do rather than just farming materials. So all in all, the Illusive Realm update is going to be massive and will definitely be one of the best aspects of version 1.4. Lastly, for version 1.4, there are a bunch of quality of life updates and optimizations, such as now being able to use double the amount of wave plates in tacit fields and forgery challenges, which is an amazing implementation to help in getting the daily grind out of the way quicker than ever before. So you would then have more time to have fun in modes such as the Illusive Realm, or you can just head off sooner. Additionally, the UI interface being improved in Tower of Diversity so that it now allows you to switch gear without having to back out is another great optimization, as I'm sure every player does go through this when having to switch around weapons and echoes. So this would definitely speed up the process of having to prepare and allows you to jump straight into Tower of Adversity quicker than before. Finally, there are also optimizations in regards to echoes, as now you will be able to upgrade echoes 5 levels at a time with the press of one button, which will make upgrading echoes much more efficient. But the best echo optimization would have to be the fact that we can now see the main stat of echoes that we pick up, meaning we don't have to constantly head into the backpack to check the stat of an echo, which ultimately does save a ton of time and of course allows for a better overall experience when farming for echoes. So these being some of the optimizations we are receiving, which will significantly benefit the player experience, just goes to show how amazing these devs are, and of course makes you wonder what other optimizations could we possibly receive. Overall, version 1.4 is definitely a stacked update, with amazing new features, mechanics, and of course there being extremely valuable character banners. So again, even though version 1.4 did seem like it was meant to be an underwhelming update in comparison to 1.3, it is certainly looking hype with a ton of content and new features to provide an amazing experience to players. Initially, it did look like Amelia was going to be carrying version 1.4, and arguably she still is going to be, but with the Illusive Realm especially making its return, version 1.4 is looking to be quite a solid and fun update overall, and there is still a ton more to expect in the upcoming days to the release. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel for more WutheringWaves content, and if you enjoyed the video, drop a like. Also drop a comment down below on what you're looking forward to the most in version 1.4. And yeah, hope to catch you guys later.